And we are back, and it is time for the Else Words. This is the discussion topic of the show, and also in a way, part of it ties into my Else Word or my Else Views, and will probably tie into a future Else Views. And this is that Saturday Night Live will air coast to coast all season. This is a two-part thing here because the other part will be what I will talk about probably in the future. So, Corey, what do you think about this? Because this is actually interesting. We have East Coast watcher and then West Coast watcher with you. So you, with the exception of the final 4 episodes last season, since you lived out in California, you haven't had the opportunity to see Saturday Night live when it airs on the East Coast.
It's been one of those things that's kind of funny because I grew up in Michigan.
Yes,
so I was always one of the people that when something was airing, I was seeing it the first time, or if it was live, I was seeing it in what is considered more real time, meaning something like the Emmys. Well, not even that. It's like the Emmys thing of if you're watching the Emmys on the East Coast versus the West Coast, you're seeing it 3 hours earlier. Now, that didn't matter as much when I was younger because we didn't have the internet and people spoiling shit on Facebook like they do with Game of Thrones and stuff. It's like, oh, it's Sunday night. Game of Thrones or Walking Dead is on. I better not go on any social media at all because people are fuckers.
Some of them cousin fuckers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Walking Dead or Game of Thrones spoiler.
Or uncle fuckers. So yeah, it was a change now being on the opposite end of the country where I'm not privy to seeing the things from that feed. It's weird because Comcast, and I think satellite might still do this, for a long time they had the 2 feeds on some channels, so you could see them both at the same time, and that doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
It still is a little bit, especially with satellite, which is something that I used when I was younger to watch other shows that I would have missed when I was at school on the West Coast feed.
Well, here's my kvetch, just a sidetrack. HBO has an East Coast and West Coast, but if I watch the East Coast, it's not HD. And I am really confused why at this point 90% of the Comcast channels are not high definition. Why we still
4K
are
being right there.
Yeah, we're rounded down to this fucking lowest common denominator of bullshit channels. Like you get 1 or 2, you get the regular HBO and then the Spanish HBO in high definition, but then all the other ones are in standard definition. It's like, the fuck is wrong with you, Comcast? You understand that you've been pushing your bullshit content box for fucking years. High definition TVs, like, we've been through the 3D boom and bust at this point and made our way to 4K and 8K, and you don't give us high definition in all the fucking channels right now? You are out of your goddamn minds. No wonder people have moved the fuck to the internet. That said, so sometimes there's the opportunity for me to, like, I record John Oliver in non-high def to record earlier, not because I'm going to watch at that point in time, but because it's just, then it's not interfering with the other 4 shows that I tape on Sunday nights. But that's also kind of the other part of it. So we're going to say that Saturday Night Live is going to be airing at the same time for both coasts. So instead of having to wait till 11:30, I could be watching it at 8:30 when you guys are watching it at 11:30 your time. But I don't. You know, I might choose to watch it at 8:30 now because at 11:30 it's on opposite some of my local stuff that I watch, the local horror movies that I watch, the creature features here, used to compete with Circus of Chaos as well. Those have moved up. So I haven't really cared about watching Saturday Night Live. And a lot of shows I don't watch live because the interactivity of it doesn't matter to me. There's only a couple things that I want to watch when it's airing. Again, because like I don't want to get it spoiled, but mostly it's like I watch the horror feature stuff with the group that I hang out with who make some of those shows. I don't know if having it air earlier matters.
So
it's certainly at the best point for Saturday Night Live right now.
Yeah. So here's the billing, at least from the article from Slash Film that I'm pulling this from, that one of the things that you guys would miss out on the West Coast is when the host would slip and say fuck live on air, which I will point out happened this past season with Kristen Stewart, and it did not get cut from the on-demand version on Comcast.
And that presumes that I'm 10, and that's like, oh, I feel so fucking pissed off that I didn't get to hear the F word on Saturday Night Live and watch Jenny Slate get fired. You know?
But I mean, there is that little bit of that little bit of stuff there is, like the gaffes that happen that then get edited around or
which you can then go to YouTube and see.
Yeah. but it makes sense in that regard. The big one is obviously going to be the social media buzz. But the point I think we're getting with this is more of, do you see this being a trend for more of the live things? Like, this already happens with sports. So sports is was the big one that was like, everyone's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be live.
And sports is one that actually makes sense. But sports is another beast, because with sports, TV's already fucked around a football game.
Yeah.
If you are like, hey, I'm going to be recording Big Bang Theory at 8 o'clock. It's like, no, there's a game on. You can pretty much kiss Big Bang Theory to 12:01 or something. It's going to be moved. Like, it doesn't matter what your DVR thinks, is you better make sure that it's going to record it at this other time, because that's what's going to happen. Is the game's going to go long or the game's going to go short, and either way they're going to fill it in with a bunch of bullshit after sports talk anyways. And so anything that's TV is completely off schedule because of the football or the baseball or not the soccer. And that's the other part of this that I don't get, is because for Saturday Night Live, what it's doing for us is saying, well, at 8:30, you guys get Saturday Night Live, and then you'll probably get a repeat at 11:30. But on your coast, what's playing at 8:30? It pretty much pisses away the idea that Saturday night programming means anything else other than Saturday Night Live.
But to be honest, what does it mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It's a caveat of Saturdays are fucked for TV and primetime. The only thing that we have that people give a shit about is Saturday Night Live. So we can fuck the 8 to 10 o'clock hour by putting Saturday Night Live there for the West Coast, and the East Coast, just, I don't know, Murder, She Wrote reruns? Like, what are we going to put there?
What it's been these past couple years, it would be repeats of the episodes that aired that week. Actually, no, what it has been on Saturday nights during Saturday Night Live is, at least in my local area, is other episodes of Saturday Night Live. So they would
do those hit around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Which this wouldn't affect, because it would run from 8:30 to 10. Saturday Night Live's an hour and a half show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you would still get your repeat of Saturday Night Live at 10 o'clock. So, but from your 8:30 to 10, they can fucking put on just an aquarium. Like, that's the thing, is it's either you guys get shit for that period of time, or we don't get what you get.
Yeah.
Because we're going to see the same thing. So either way, you're getting crap filler on one end, or if it's something really good, you don't get it on the other end.
Yeah.
And that's presuming just the East Coast and West Coast. That's not presuming Central, Mountain Time, any of those things that have different time zones.
Those, and with those, like with Central and Mountain, they also sort of get fucked anyways. I never quite understood the Western part, because with us, it was always, with Saturday Night Live, it starts at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. They were just an hour behind, which makes sense. But then it's like, shouldn't it be 11:30 Mountain, 10:30 Western, not 11:30 Western, 12:30 Mountain?
Yeah, I assume that the Central people go to bed early because their news starts an hour earlier, and it's all fucked up. I don't know. I mean, it's
their news only comes through Fox.
Fox. Saturday Night Live's on NBC, dude.
No, the news. That's the slogan like for Fox. Yeah,
yeah. Which our Fox affiliate is now doing an 11 o'clock news. I don't get it. Whatever. So Saturday Night Live at this point in time just won some Emmys. It's very popular because of how well the last season went with all the political stuff they're doing with the Alec Baldwin, not Adam Baldwin, doing his Trump, Melissa McCarthy doing her Sean Spicer, which apparently made him endearing enough to allow all these fucking liberal assholes hug and kiss him at the Emmys because he showed up and said, hey, that's right, I am full of shit. Yeah, we know, but just because you're in on the joke now doesn't mean that it excludes you from all the bullshit you were telling us just a couple months ago. You're still a dick. It's like Hitler coming out and doing a little dance and like, forget about the oven thing. No, you're still a motherfucker, and all you've done is sold out to a new fucking lord. We hate you. We should all fucking hate you because you're part of the fucking problem, and you delivered this stuff as well as you could. Now, I don't envy anybody doing that job. That job is hard, but you sold your fucking soul to do it. And just because you were let go or left of your own accord, whatever, because someone else was going to come in and take your job, Snowflake, you're still full of shit in the first place, and we don't automatically like you now. So anyway, that's my rant. Saturday Night Live, really popular, really well. So there are things that potentially could get spoiled, like a Game of Thrones gets spoiled. Like, oh my God, fucking Rosie O'Donnell showed up and she's playing Steve Bannon. Holy shit. And I'm on this coast like, I don't get to see that yet. Please don't spoil it for me.
Actually,
I'm never going to go on social media again. Yeah, I know. It was talked about. It was something that I think she was volunteering to do, and they just didn't pull in on it. Missed opportunity, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
but
because he's out now too. So
I'm a person who time shifts. I'm a person who DVRs, and so watching Saturday Night Live doesn't necessarily matter as much to me. For those who does, that's fine. But I still think it just basically means Saturday nights don't mean shit to NBC. It's like black people to George W. Bush. They don't care. And so really, until Saturday Night Live starts, the rest of NBC's output is bullshit, and they know it, and they don't care if you know it now.
All right. So the other part with this, though, is, and this actually was in New York, I believe, last year, and this is Saturday Night Live, The Experience. Now, this is it's actually a museum exhibit, and it's coming to Chicago, and it's going to be coming to the Museum of Broadcast Communications in Chicago. And one of the things that's really cool is that it's allowing fans to get an idea of what it's like to do a week of Saturday Night Live. Like,
here's why I hate Chicago. All right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. It just seems like Corey's job is to interrupt and just shit on everything that I'm about to talk about.
I would say because you're a Red Wings fans and the Blackhawks can go fuck themselves.
Well, the Blackhawks can go fuck themselves, but they'd have to be able to get it in the fucking goal.
Oh! No, so this... So I'm trying to find when it said it ran from the Chicago Tribune. But it is, like, one of the coolest parts about this is there's going to be a lot of stuff, you know, like there's going to be the Wayne's World set, there's going to be the Jeopardy set. There's going to be, Tina Fey through Seth Meyers Weekend Update Desk.
At this point in time, they should have Melissa's mobile podium.
Yeah, there's John Belushi's Killer Bees outfit and the opening monologue stage. And the other cool part is, okay, so yeah, in New York, the show is located in a dedicated space on Fifth Avenue where it drew an average rating of 4.5 stars on TripAdvisor. They don't divulge attendance figures after it closed there. But so it's really cool that they've already done this in New York, and it makes sense to me because a lot of people who have come to SNL came from Second City in Chicago. So it's, you know, it's that next logical step.
Also, New York and Chicago are both places where you can expect to get shot. So if you like excitement,
just walk down the streets. But yeah, so the exhibit is going to open October 21st, 2017, and it'll be there for about 14 months, and the tickets are going to be $25. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm excited for this because once this opens, I'm going to be like, hey, who wants to go to Chicago? We're going to go to see the Saturday Night Live Museum. Which, now I'm saying that, if they don't have the set where they did Da Bears, that's going to be like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Or they'll just have people sitting around that just seem like they should have been in the skit in the first place.
One guy just gets goes, Da Bears, Da Bears, Da Bears. But yeah, so I mean, I would expect the next stop for this would be LA or even San Francisco. Like, you know, after the 14 months is up here, they do 14 months over in San Francisco or 14 months in LA or something like that. But the big part for me, honestly, is, you know, besides seeing all the outfits, is that whole going through a week, because they're doing it in such a cool, interactive way of, you know, like you're throwing up clips from people who've worked on the show. I feel like this might give you a really good idea as to like what it takes to do this show.
Oh, so it's everything that Aaron Sorkin needed to do Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip and he didn't pull off?
Yeah. Basically.
I love that shit, by the way. I absolutely enjoyed it.
But yeah, so that is going to do it for us, folks.
For more on this Galactic Network podcast, go to gncast.com. That's GNCASTS.com.